Hello and welcome to Stargazing, the show that brings you up close and personal with your favorite stars of reggae and dancehall music and Jamaican popular culture. In this edition of the show, we'll be speaking with an award-winning poet and author. Let's take a look.
What I do propose is progress. Let your ordeal be the fuel of true freedom. Let it make you amazing, astounding, unbelievable. Let it make you the greatest.
Antonia Valaire is an award-winning poet and author. She writes from an intimate place that her truth calls home. When she writes, she manages to release some of the unfortunate reality that is etched on her memory, ever creating an unsettled feeling deep within her soul. Writing is a tool that the Portmore native uses to give herself the freedom to absorb more of the spiritual nutrients on which her soul thrives, as it keeps her firmly grounded in her values. Pearls Among Stones is Antonia's first book, which she published in 2013. Canadian publisher Brian Rickson came across her creative work and was determined to make it accessible to the public. Born Christina Antonia Valaire Williams in Portmore in the early 1990s, where she was raised along with her three brothers, this poet and author has had to battle a lot of pain caused by situations over which she had no control. When she was just a little girl, her parents separated and her father moved out of the family home. That marked the beginning of an emotionally turbulent life. Feelings of abandonment by her father, coupled with the trauma her mother faced bringing up the family as a single parent, crippled Antonia's freedom to be the happy little girl that she had dreamed of being. To find solace, young Antonia turned to reading, watching movies, and writing. She composed her first poem, a poignant romantic piece, at the age of 10. Although it dealt with topics well beyond her years, Antonia told the Stargazing with Sean Kane show that the effort was just frivolity, a collection of fairy tale imaginings. But the reality of her mother's emotional and physical suffering pierced an inch deeper into the young writer's heart each day. This experience urged Antonia to do something to help soothe her mother's spirits. Her response was the poem To Mama, which acknowledges her mother's cares and pain. The former Spanish Town High School student also tried to cheer her mother up by praising her heroism in ensuring her children felt loved and wanted.
Mommy, you're my empress. No other could have ever be the best. Can't trade you, cause you're priceless. Mommy, don't you know say your womb is blessed? Mommy, while you're facing your adversaries, I know there are many memories. All those pain you keep inside, those emotions that you hide. Mommy, carry those burdens no more.
Antonia, who went on to create other literary works, credits poets and artists such as Maya Angelou, Langston Hughes and Bob Marley as potent sources of inspiration to her. As she widens her repertoire, she tackles issues such as social injustices, economic inequalities, and other complex themes. Antonia holds a Bachelor of Arts Degree in History and Philosophy from the University of the West Indies. She is currently studying Entrepreneurship at the Heart Trust NTA as she plans to set up her own publishing company to advance the reach of her literary works across the world.
Welcome back. Antonia, wagwan.
I'm very blessed to be alive and well despite what's going on in the world. So I'm very honored.
Well, I think that's something that all of us can say because we've all been affected by this thing. Lockdown here, there, restrictions here, there, all sorts of things. So we just have to give thanks, for being alive. Yes. And as a poet, I can just imagine you're going to have a field day very soon.
Whoa, yeah. I've been writing, but I've been mostly doing schoolwork. So my energy is a bit towards that way, school.
I can understand. Well, as soon as you're free from all of that, you'll be able to concentrate solely now on all the madness that's happening here and give us a poet's take on what's going on.
Yes, indeed. I did write a poem called Since the Virus.
Hmm.
when the virus began, and it was like a narrative, actually. It's a very powerful piece, and they got published in an inner child press publisher book that is in USA. So there's more to come. Yes.
That's really good. You want to give us a little piece of that, or we'd have to go and buy the book first?
Yeah, I would say buy the book. Yeah.
Oh, you meanie. Anyway,
I mean, I could.
no,
No,
no, no, it's not. It's not. I was just having a laugh, so don't take me too seriously on this one. But
okay.
poetry, though, where did this deep love for poetry come from?
Whoa, I mean, I would say first of all that it's from God, because I believe that the gifts, that's my belief, because I'm a Christian, and before I was even a Christian, that was my belief system, that there must be an higher being, and each person have a gift, they have a unique talent. And as early as I can remember, I've always been writing. So I know it's a God-given gift. And I don't know if there's anyone in my family who's a writer. My father, I know that he's an artist, he can draw. But the writing, no, I don't really know anybody in my family who is. So I would say it's from God. And I would also say that it was developed because I was able, when I was at home as a young child, I was able to, get to write and draw. So that's where I would say it's from.
That's very good. Well, it's all creative work anyway, so it's still part of the whole creativity of the family. Dad is creating his own drawings, you're creating your own words in terms of poems and everything like that. But when you write, what does that do for you? How does it make you feel?
You have the cliche answer for that. Normally, when we are asked these questions, we normally say, "Oh, it's therapeutic. It makes us feel good. It's good for expression." I mean, it's all those beautiful things. But I think I want to go deep and really be very honest how it makes me feel when I get the opportunity to write. First of all, I don't force it. It's not something that is forced. It's an inspiration. So there has to be something or someone that inspire my writing. And when that happens, it means that it is something that is truthful, it is honest, and it is soulful. So whatever that thing or that person that inspires within that moment that led me to write, it is something that I'm releasing from my soul, and I'm speaking that truth and its power. When you read it, you realize that it's something deep. It's a story that I'm sharing. It's a narrative. Poetry for me is not just like you make up stuff, like it's just words. You're just being creative. It's very deeper than that. I mean, most of the time, it's really looking around nature. It's God, it's people, there's things that's happening. It's almost like a weeping prophet like Jeremiah. I'm crying out through my words, I'm weeping through my words, and I'm hoping that when I write these words, that wherever we are in the world, they can read it, they feel the emotion that I put in these words. So it's almost like a shared bond. Because when you sometimes you read something and I remember reading Maya Angelou's work, and I read it and I felt like she was speaking to me. That's the power of words. That however this person writes it, they're putting their soul in it. So it's a releasing of pain, it's a releasing of happiness. There's so much that I want to share, and it's a gift, and I want to release it to whoever who can read, that can be inspired, they can be motivated. So it's a deep spiritual connection through words, I would say.
That's what I'm getting, because I thought it was something you would just look out the window and you just make something up. That it's a great day, and we need to go and play, and if you can join me if you may, that kind of thing where you're just rhyming and you've got a nice little meter and you move along. But I can see that your style of writing is a lot deeper than that. It has to kind of mean something to you. It has to be a part of your experience.
Yes, it has to be purpose driven. There's time when you write playfully. Like there are times when I will see some, but I'm still inspired. It's something that inspired that playfulness in my words. But majority of what I write is there is a deep pain, there is a deep happiness, and there's something that I need to release. It's almost like a volcano. You know, when a volcano is erupting, that's almost what's happening. The inspiration is erupting in me so much that I have to get it out. And by that force and power, by getting it out, whoever reads it, they're feeling that same energy that I've placed in my words.
But you mentioned about deep pain or something like that. Tell me a little bit about your upbringing, because I'm just trying to see where that probably deep pain came from.
So I grew up in Portmore in Jamaica, and I know some people, they have a perception about Portmore. Portmore is considered to be a middle class urban environment. In its truest landscape, yes, it does have a lot of privileges. I mean, we have concrete structures. The ones who got the house, because Manley was giving away houses and he gave it to civil servants. So when I was growing up, I mostly saw people who were like nurses, policemen, teachers. These were the individuals that I grew up around, and which is very good for a child, because I grew up around seeing people who are hardworking. I didn't really grow up to see people not working. I see people always doing something. They're always trying to better themselves. But I also could look on and see that they weren't rich. I know some people like to say people are rich. I don't know what that is. Like, as Bob Marley said, what is a lot of money? What is richness? But I saw people who were hardworking. They have jobs. And I believe that if you have a job, it's a possibility of hope. So that's what I saw. I saw hope in my environment. I used to watch sports because my eldest brother, Andre, he loves sports. So I was able to enjoy that type of world. I also saw my brothers making box truck, which was very interesting. As I look back on my childhood in that aspect, I can say, the simple things of life, I did enjoy it. Because, many times people would say children grow up with a lot of technology. I mean, I'm not here to debate whether that is good or bad, but when I look back in my time to see, we were creative where we could make box truck. I used to use our lime to play cricket with my brothers because we didn't have any ball at the time. And, the box truck was so creatively designed. I mean, I'm talking about guys who were never taught anything. They use the box tools and they make box truck and they use the wheels and they design it in so many ways. And then we used to play 1, 2, 3, red light, stocky. I used to race on my bicycle with my friends. We used to play run down and lick. And last lick, I don't know if you know about last lick.
And stocky.
Yes. So those were very exciting as a child. And what you say, socialization. I mean, I don't apologize for how I grew up, because who I saw around me, what they were doing, I gravitated to doing it and I enjoyed. And I excelled also because I could play video games with my other brother, Richard, and we could break any game. And I played Ludo and I played dominoes and Monopoly, and I was very excellent at those stuff because I just loved creativity. So I was always drawing, I was always writing. I was also making noise, love to sing, even though I can't sing, but I enjoy doing that. In terms of the pain, so my parents, they divorced before, after I was born, but my father, he left, unfortunately. And by him leaving, my mom, she went into depression because I can't even remember. No, I can remember at a certain point of my age, like probably age 10, but he left when I was 1. But those years, I could look back and I said, whoa, when my father left, it was very devastating, especially for my brothers, since they had a relationship with him. They know him very well. Unlike me, I never actually had a relationship with, because by the time I have sense, he had already left. And I didn't know anything about him. He didn't come around, he never paid child support, he never paid alimony, he never came by anything, he didn't buy me stuff, or, he wasn't a father. And I knew that he had money, so I never really understood why, the excuse in Jamaica is always the case that men don't have money, that's why they can't take care of their children. But my case is the opposite. My father have everything, and he still left, he still abandoned us, he didn't care. And money alone is not all, by just coming by to to say hello, or even carrying a child to the park or something. You know, that emotional attachment, spiritual attachment, those things are lacking. And I kind of grew up without him, so I learned to survive without him. And it's such a strange thing, because it's almost like I don't have any feelings toward him. I know it feels strange. I don't have no emotion. I don't know if I love or hate him. Like, deep down, I don't hate him, but deep down at the same time, I feel like there's no distinct emotion, because we feel like strangers. For
That's
someone to be,
I was just thinking that he just felt like a stranger in the street. You just thought we're going past somebody. If he felt like saying good morning, fine. If no good morning, then it doesn't mean anything.
that's how I feel. For someone who I can, when I see him, I can see certain traits in me.
Really?
But the connection, which is supposed to be so strong, is almost, as you say, like strangers that pass each other. That's pretty much like I could see him across the street and probably not say hello, and it wouldn't bother me, really. And that's very strange. And so, you know, when he left and he moved out everything, so we were left with that empty house. My mother, she didn't have any job, and, you know, because her job was to take care of the kids. So when he left, it really dawned on her. We immediately, our house went on auction.
Did you ever ask why he left? Like, ask mom? Did you even want to know why that separation? Was that important to you?
It is, because, and I didn't really necessarily have to ask her, because my brothers were old enough to tell me. They remember so much, and they tell me of the day that he left. My eldest brother, Andre, he can tell me so much, because he told me that when my father was moving, my father was about to move the TV that he was watching. And he said, "Dad, are you really going to move the TV that I'm watching?" And he stood there, and his best friend, my dad's best friend, said, "Leave the TV, let them watch the TV." And that's how the TV stayed, you know. But so these are things that my brothers, they talk about it all the time from I was growing up. And they tell me of so many experiences. So I've been growing up hearing, but I didn't use their experiences to judge him. I used my own experience. And I said to myself, he never really came by. And I remember when he came by, when I was around 10, 12, I think. It's almost like the first time that I acknowledged his existence. When he came, I was outside, and I stood there at the gate, and he came up. And I was just staring at him. And my mom came out, and she was like, "That's your dad." And it's almost like it's the first time that I fully acknowledged him, and I never forget that experience. And after a while, he came by, but he wasn't really doing anything much, really. Like, you know, took care of me or stuff like that. And so that was a pain that I had to carry with me. And it didn't stop there either, because then I began having problems with my neighbors, and that's like another story. It's so heartbreaking, the discrimination that we went through. It's almost, we're not the only ones that became fatherless. Like, Jamaica is ranked very high in the world for fatherless children. One of my neighbors, I remember one time we were having an argument, and he just blurted out, "You don't have any father."
How did that make you feel?
Actually, I didn't feel ashamed, because by that time I have accepted that I didn't have a father. You know?
He's just trying to insult you, really, just to make you feel bad. But let's take it back. And thanks very much for being so honest about your personal life, to be honest, because you didn't have to say all of that, but, you know,
yes,
you shared it. When you started writing your first poem that you composed, the very first one, can you remember that? The title of it and what the theme was?
It was titled The First Time. It was a lovey-dovey poem. Yes, I was age 10. Okay. I don't know. I think that's a theme for poets. Like, most time I talk to other poets, and I say, what's the theme that you began writing? They'll be like, it's romance. I'm like, what? I don't know why I felt led to write about the first time. And I was just 10.
Well, that's what I was thinking. What do you know about all them kind of things at 10?
I don't know nothing, actually. But for some reason, that's what I wrote about. And I remember, I think it's, oh my God. I remember the first time we met. We flew across the stars in your jet. I remember the first time we kissed, I couldn't resist. Something like that. Oh my God.
You naughty, naughty woman.
So that was my first poem, actually.
But let's look at the subsequent poems that you've written now. What would you consider your more dominant theme to be?
Well, I'm a versatile poet, actually. I can write on any topic, as long as I'm inspired, as long as I probably do a little bit research.
And you can feed something.
But I would say now that I've matured and grown, and I would say I've grown into being a professional poet. And now I would say that it would be social issues, because I believe that as a poet, I have a duty to be a social advocate, not just writing words, but to advocate with my words, as well as taking part in volunteerism and being that social change in society as a poet. So I would definitely say revolutionary. I've become very strong in my opinion and points. Yeah, so that's definitely era that I take on, I would say.
Well, I can understand that though, with the kind of start that you had and all of that kind of negativity around you. I can understand you being a revolutionary, because there's something to fight for, something to save the future generations of, and even people who are going through that now. To be that kind of common voice, I can understand what you're saying. I can understand what you're going through. So just so that, you empathize and people can feel that, well, there is a way out of this. I can cope with this. I can live through this. That's very good. But in terms of mom, is it, I think you wrote a very poignant piece for mom.
Yes.
And you shared it with her. Can you tell us a little bit about that experience? What it was, the poem you wrote, and when you shared it with her, how she reacted?
I am honored to have my mom. I'm honored that she stick around to raise me and raise me into the wonderful woman that I am. And I will only grow better and greater. So it's not surprising that I would have become led to write a poem for her. And I wrote this poem probably when I was 17, I think, 17, 19. And it's titled For My Mom, Tristan Williams. And I remember sharing that poem, I think it was on Mother's Day. Yeah, I shared it on Mother's Day. But I instead of saying it, I sang it. And why I sang it, I don't know why I felt like doing something different. But the minute I sang it to her, she began crying, tears, and she was just weeping. And I stood there and I wanted to cry as well. But I just wanted her to have that moment because it was about her. And I wanted to show her that I appreciate her and that I love her. And that, I'm just grateful and honored that she was able to stand strong, after all she has been through. She stood strong to raise us children, and we are here to make her proud.
And that is so good. That is really good. But I know your writing style is so sophisticated. And by that, I mean the words that you use, your rhythm, your rhyming pattern, all these different things. They're just so good. When you write, how long does it take for you to finish off that piece of writing? Because I know in terms of writing, it's something you have to do pre-writing, writing, and then you post, you go and you edit and all of that. How long does it take you to really refine? And then you sit back and say, this is done. Here you go.
Okay, well, it depends on how I wrote it. Like, if I'm in the bus, for example, and I'm inspired, and probably I got a word or a phrase, then I write it down. Then, that poem requires that I go home, or probably another time I'll go and write. I would write. But if it is within the moment I write it, it's done for me, because it's raw. I'm going to give it
just
raw.
It's just one go.
It's one go, because it's from the soul. Whatever comes through me is because it's raw. And it doesn't need no refining at that moment.
All right, very interesting that I can see poetry is a different style of writing, because I do a bit myself, but then mine is different. And then I have to go over, and then you change this word, change that one. You think the phrasing of the sentence, you didn't like that, so you kind of ditch that or something like that. But your style is different. You're coming from the soul, and whatever comes out, you say the first thing, that's the real thing. I know you went to Spanish Down Comprehensive.
Yes.
And maybe some people might look at that and they think Spanish Town, and then you are a poet and you're a published author and all these different things, and you've got your degree in, history and that sort of thing. How does Spanish Town contribute to that?
Well, I want to say thank you to all my teachers. That is a great contribution because, Spanish Town, I unfortunately have a negative reputation. And, that reputation can affect a child psychologically, especially the environment, the wars, and, the crime and violence. But I would say that I'm going to show an aspect of positive and negative. And the positive aspect, I would say, is that the teachers, my experience is that the teachers really put out their best, that you become the best. And also, I remember this young lady, I was in grade 7, and I remember we had to go through the other gate to reach the other side, the other block, pretty much, to buy, to go to the tuck shop. And when I came back, I realized that she locked the gate. And, she was basically extorting money. And I was so small with my baby face. And this girl, back out this long piece of knife. At first, I never seen knife so big and long. And she was like, give me your money. I said, hey, girl. And I get no money. And I stepped in her face because I was wearing Timberland. But I was so nervous, so shaky. And this girl is probably in grade 11, so a grade 7 student and a grade 11 student. And she ended up, let me go through. And me and my classmate them go through. And she said, all right, I'm going to see you back lunchtime. Now, I tell my classmate them, so we have a couple of youths. One big up my classmate them, Jervan, Ansel, all of them youth there. Really, they stand up for me because when that girl step in the class, man, and she said, I come to see Indian. And my classmate look for me and say, are you should come to say, me no know her. So the guy them stand up. And I tell her, so that girl I can't fight, boy, But when she see what you pay youth, like, she's probably change her mind. And she never bothered challenge me. But the day it rained, and as a result, the school ended up get washed out. And so the bus had to came in the school. And I end up going on the bus, I'm sitting down at the back. Only if you see this girl I come in. Why am I get afraid? Because I say, I no bucket, I no friend. And when she come in though, she just look for me and say, Indian, wagwan. I say, wagwan. I will boom office. And that was that between me and her. She never.
You're friends ever since?
We are friends ever since. You know what I mean?
That is so good. I see, that place has kind of helped to shape your character to an extent, because you started speaking up, you started to defend yourself and that sort of thing. It's really, really good. Now, I know that you're a published author as well. So can you just give us a few of your titles? What are they called?
So I have 3 books that I published. This was republished by me, titled Pearls Among Stones. It was first published by Canadian Brian Rickson. So Brian Rickson, big up yourself. I've never met him, by the way, but he took on the chance and the opportunity to publish me, even though we have never met. So Pearls Among Stones. This book has won me Prime Minister's Youth Award. Let me show you. This is Prime Minister Youth Award. And it also won me Jacon Award. You can look at it. So the first title is Pearls Among Stones. It's on Amazon. And then my second book is Black Gold. And then my third is Out from Babylon System, Liberation of Mind. As I can tell, the one is revolutionary.
I thought so, with the power, the power kind of the fist punching the air kind of thing. I'm ready for action. Well done, congratulations and all of that. What you've done, and how do these make you feel? Because you're still fairly young, and you've got so many things to show for what you've done.
Whoa, I mean, I remember when I won my Prime Minister Youth Award, first and most. But I didn't actually believe that I would win. Like, I just entered and I was just honored to be shortlisted. And when I won, it's almost like 3 months after I realized I really win. Like, within the moment, I never really realized. You know that moment then? Because I get shocked.
Mm-hmm.
because I couldn't believe. Because normally, individual who win Prime Minister Youth Award, them kind of well known, them famous already. You know, like the Bolts and J. Von Francis, individuals like that, the Chronics.
Mm-hmm.
So in my era of arts and culture, you have people like Chronics, Sachin Leng, Romain Virgo. These are the individuals who have won in the arts and culture area. So me never really realized, but just the honored to be shortlisted. But I am now amongst the awardees, and it's a great feeling and a great honor. And to publish books, it's a great honor as well to be out there.
So age of 21, is that about 30 years ago? That's just brilliant. And just before we let you go, finally, I know that you are at the Heart NTA at the moment. What are you doing there? Because I know you completed your Bachelor of Arts in History at the University of the West Indies, and now you're at Heart NTA. So I would imagine that is a different kind of skill area or skill set that you're looking to amass.
Well, yes, I'm studying entrepreneurship, and that's business oriented, to start your own business, and I'm learning lots of skills, practical skills there. I'm also part of VTDI Expressionites. That's a drama group. So I'm also learning to refine my skill as a performer. So Joel, big up yourself, he is the creative director there, and I'm learning so much. Kerry, big up yourself as well. I'm learning so much in terms of business, how to form your own business, the laws behind it.
Well, I'm sure it's going to happen. A very focused lady. You've done so many things in such a short time. So congratulations once more. But before we let you go, I always like to ask questions for my book here. It's called Reggae Larger Than Life, the ultimate reggae music fun and games book. And this book is currently available on Amazon, as well as if you're an app person, the Android version is currently available from the Google Play Store. Now, I've selected 2 questions for you. So let's see. We just want to test how knowledgeable you are of Jamaican music. I know about poetry. I won't touch that area with you because you'll just blow me away. But let's try now with music and see how you are. So the first question here is, which of the following Jamaican prime ministers was a music producer and record promoter? Edward Seaga, Michael Manley, Portia Simpson-Miller, and Hugh Shearer.
The answer is Edward Seaga.
Okay, very good there. I see you're very well read, very knowledgeable. Right, so the last question now for you. As I said, it was 2 of them I selected. Second one. Which St. Catherine-based Smile Jamaica Sing J introduced the world to his affable and attractive Queen Majesty in 2016? The options are Chronics, Vitch, Version, and Stitchy.
Chronics.
All right, I see you well versed. I can't say anything more to you about that. Well, thank you so much. Very good there. The questions were taken from my book here, Reggae Larger Than Life, the ultimate reggae music fun and games book, available on Amazon and also from the Google Play Store, the app version. Right, so, Antonia, thank you so much for being a part of the show.
I want to say a poem, and as well, more send up some big ups. So I'm going to do the mama poem for my mom. Mommy, you're my empress. No other could have ever be the best. Can't trade you, cause you're priceless. Mommy, don't you know say your womb is blessed? Mommy, while you're facing your adversaries, I know there are many memories. All those pain you keep inside, those emotions that you hide. Mommy, carry those burdens no more, because your basket will overflow. Mommy, you never put me up for adoption or do abortion. In my lifetime, you show me so much affection, even if me can repeat part of the fraction. Mommy, you're the beginning and the ending of my story. When success reaches, I can't take all the glory. All those years you're under pressure. No husband, no father. You had to work your finger. Mommy, when me have my big occupation, no more struggle, no more sufferation. Because of you build a strong foundation. And that and my elevation. Mommy, me go buy you the car, the land, everything on you, name brand. Me I give you hardcore, no pretty thing, the real thing. 3.5 years without light, water. As so much I did I suffer, but I never depart. You were always apart. Big up mommy. One big up wise words, Richie Innocent, Spally, lyrics, Inkosi, Darwit, Melanin, Yasa Safari, Rastukura, Lana Goodison. Whoa, there's so much poets that want big up. Cherry Natural. Yeah, man, big up all of the poets, them Life Circle poets, 876 Poetry. Big up my mother, brother them, Andre, Sean, Richard. Big up all my father, Antonia Williams. Big up yourself. Yeah, man, big up Sean K. Peace.
Thank you so much for that. Antonia, thank you so much for being a part of the show. And we just wish you all the best with your poems, your poetry, with your books, and with your business. I know you're going to be starting very soon because you're just a determined lady. You're going to do so much. And also congratulations on all these different awards that you've won. You've got so much to show for your very, very short time on this earth. I'm not saying your time on the earth is going to be short, but I mean, only 20 odd years, it's not a lot, not like me. I've been here for about 80 odd years, but, thank you so much for that.
You're still young and fresh.
Well, thank you so much for saying that.
Okay.
So thank you so much for being a part of the show, and we wish you all the best in your future endeavors. Thanks too for watching, and as usual, remember to subscribe, to like, share, and also leave a comment so we know how we're doing. Until next time, I'm Sean Kane saying thanks so much for watching. Goodbye.